All right, we're here with the last topic, and as I stated, it's going to be mainly a political episode. I'm just here to give my thoughts on Kamala Harris being the new front runner for the Democratic Party. Um, normally, I mean, normally I would give my thoughts on stuff like this, but it wouldn't be anything outside of maybe a tweet or a post on another social media platform. Blackham being another one. Um, yeah, it just normally would just be a post, but I ran into look at this. Well, y'all don't see this, but this big ass bee trying to get up in here. Fuck you. Sorry, but nah. I ran into an old acquaintance of mine. I'm just gonna put it that way from my group activism days when I did activism as a group and not just as a solo activist. But I ran into one of my old colleagues, I guess, or comrades. That's the word they used to use all the time. I found it cringy that a bunch of black folks is using that, but I guess old the Panthers used to use. I don't know, but like I ran into an old comrade of mine, and he was working and I was working. I was doing my own work, my own like independent work. Y'all know I'm an author, writer, all this other stuff. So I was just doing stuff regarding to that. And I think I was editing some stuff for the podcast, YouTube, and all that stuff, right? So I was doing that. I usually do that at the library. He was with a group of kids. He's a youth worker as well. So he was with his kids. So he was like working, but he stopped by. He noticed me. He stopped by. He pretty much asked me. That was literally the first question he asked was, "What do you think about Kamala Harris?" So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I, um, I can give him the easy answer, which is I I don't care. What am I supposed to be afraid of her because she's a black woman? Like, I don't. That's not how my politics work, and he knows this. He knows I don't do the whole identity politics bullshit. So for him to ask me that, I felt like it was kind of a setup. I mean, we're in this library. There's a bunch of black folks around who most likely vote Democrat. He was trying to prop. I don't know. This is just me being. This could be me just being paranoid or whatever, but I looked at him and then I was like, all right, if this is what you want to do, pretty much, you want to ask me this question here now. And then he was like, no, I only asked because I know we don't speak anymore. But if we did, that is a question I would ask you, which, kind of was contradictory because it's like if your whole idea is we don't speak anymore, so then why would you ask a question like that if you said I know we don't speak anymore, but if we did I will ask you that question, but you just said we don't speak anymore, so don't ask me that question. But nah, anyways, it was good to see him. Actually, it was nice that he asked. He didn't get to hear my opinion because as soon as I told him I was going to say, he was just like it seemed as though he asked the question, but he knew, and that's why I said he knows how I feel. He knows my political views, but he did not want to hear something that he didn't want to hear. And a lot of folks are like that. Heck, a lot of folks will click on either this episode or this YouTube video once it goes up, knowing they're going to get an answer that they're not satisfied with and then be upset with me as if they already don't already know, or they shouldn't already know where this was going to go. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the weird thing people do to try to see if you're still if you still have a different opinion than them. And people do this outside of politics too, but I get it a lot when it comes to political questions. Like, oh, what do you feel about this? What do you feel about that? And then if my mind hasn't changed about it, which most of the time it hasn't, and it's not because I'm some stubborn mule, it's because that politician hasn't changed. That politician has either gotten worse or they're still doing the same things that made me not want to support them in the first place. So with all that being said, the same goes for Kamala Harris and how I feel about her and how I feel about Joe Biden. On TikTok, I answered this as well. Um, and I pretty much said the same way that I feel about Joe Biden is exactly the same way I feel about Kamala Harris. They are two sides of the same coin to me. It's just one is has a lot more flaws. Well, they both are flawed, but they both have different things about them that are separate and I still dislike. And then there are things that they have similar that I still dislike. You know what I'm saying? But replacing her with replacing Joe Biden with her to go up against Trump, that doesn't change my mind about anything about the Democrats. It doesn't change my mind about her. Period. He one of the last things he said, this old colleague of mine or comrade, right? One of the last things he said was, yeah, Kamala Harris, the black woman going up against a convicted felon. Here goes that whole convicted felon thing again. I've already said it enough on here already. I feel that doesn't matter, and that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things of this. And I also think it's very hypocritical because of the work we were doing as activists when we were working together. We wanted to take away the negative stigma of felons and especially brothers, but black folks in general with records. So for him to, and I know Donald Trump is not black, I am not comparing him to brothers out there that was wrongfully convicted or got a conviction and they did so because of they try to provide a way for themselves and for their family. As I've stated before, Donald Trump's convention is a lot different than your uncle or your brother or your sister, your aunt, whoever, your neighbor, that your classmates conviction. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't get a job. Donald Trump can. Donald Trump is rich, white, and famous, and that conviction on his record is not going to stain his it's not going to stain him at all. Unfortunately, and this was the first topic of this episode, unfortunately, folks do get judged by their past, even when they are on the up and up. So don't get it twisted. Simply because I said people should not be judged on their past, if they're on a positive trajectory going forward, that does not mean that I'm oblivious to the judgment that does happen. All I said is that it shouldn't happen. I didn't say it doesn't happen. I said it shouldn't happen. With that being said, men, women who aren't rich and famous with felony records, they get judged. They can't get housing. Again, they can't get jobs. They can't get the basic necessities or afford the basic necessities that's a human right simply because of this a pass, a blemish on their record. So this whole idea, once again, when I hear black folks use this convicted felon thing to try to insult Trump, this is not me defending Trump. People are going to say that because the last topic I said, I was glad that he didn't get shot or he didn't get killed or whatever. This ain't got nothing to do with defending Trump. That's not the man I'm voting for. That's not the person. Let me put it that way. That I'm going to vote for. Absolutely not. But I don't like the fact that people are going, and these are the same folk, just like this gentleman, but these are the same folk who will get upset if a white person were to prejudge a black person for having a record, but then have no problem doing it to Donald Trump. There is many other things that you can tag on to Donald Trump and say this man is unfit to be a president. I'm about to punch this bee. I swear to God, it wants to come in, but I got the, oh, that's a moth, isn't it? It's a fat something that wants to come in, but it's too fat to get through the visor. This is why y'all always keep your visors down. But anyways, as I was saying before, there's many other things that you can get on Donald Trump for and say that he's unfit to be the president for, and you would be right in saying so, other than pointing to that. So to me, that was weak as hell. And then they try to throw the whole race aspect into it. All a black woman versus a convicted felon. Like who are you gonna vote for? Neither, motherfucker. Neither. What you thought I was going to just, oh my God, I don't want to seem sexist. I don't want to seem like I hate black women. I don't want to seem misogynoir. No, you can get weak brothers with that stuff. You can't get me. You can come over here, you can comment, you can feel however you want to feel. You can't get me with that shit. I don't do identity politics. See, the problem is, in order for it to make sense for me to do identity politics, I'm gonna need the politician to reciprocate that. Kamala Harris, Kamala has made it clear that she was not going to do anything specific for black people. She said it herself. She claimed, "Oh, well, I said it because you can't do anything for specific for anybody." She had Obama try to back that up. But these are two individuals, especially Obama, who had zero problems doing something specific for specific groups, such as the LGBT community, such as the Jewish community. Kamala Harris had no problem with the stop Asian America the stop Asian hate thing that went on. She had no problem. That's something specific to them. And again, she is currently on a kick of supporting specifically the LGBT community. I saw her just a couple weeks ago as well talking about support for the Jewish community. Now, I'm not saying none of these communities don't deserve support. I believe they all do deserve it. But to go around telling black folks, well, I can't do something specifically for you while doing something specifically for other groups, yeah, that's troublesome to me. That's that screams a lot of things, but at the very simplest, it screams you're lying and you don't want to do anything specific for us. So I am not going to do the whole identity politics thing and be like, I'm gonna vote for this black woman who clearly made it clear, not just verbally, but just other ways as well, that she's not going to support me as a black person or just other black people in the same way. Y'all want to give away your votes, and that's the thing. Him and I had this conversation a long time ago, a long time ago, about this very woman, Kamala Harris. I think that's another reason why he asked. He wanted to see if he wanted to see if I was gonna go off on her in the middle of a black library, which I was, and that's why he stopped it and was like, "Nah, forget it. I gotta go back to work." My nigga, you was already at work and you already came up to me. You know what I'm saying? So you could have you could that extra 5 minutes, that extra 5 minutes wouldn't have hurt you. It probably would have because he wanted to see if I was going to be out loud and proud about it. And I was like, okay, we're going there right here. Let's go. I think, oh, and then that's when I got stopped. So I'm telling y'all, I don't know if he's gonna watch this. I doubt it. But if I do see him again, I tell him the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like to anybody who is wondering, if you think I'm just gonna, identify with Kamala now or vote Democrat now because they don't got a white man there, and my problem with Joe Biden is not he was a white man. My problem with Donald Trump is not because he's a white man. I voted for Howie Hawkins in 2020. He's a white man. I voted for Jill Stein in 2016, white woman. One of the candidates that I'm voting for, that I'm thinking about voting for now, there's one black man, one Latina, one white woman, one white man. I'm not going based off identity. And for those who are going to say, well, he's just going to choose the black man, You may have remembered, yeah, I mentioned that Cornell West had at some time has my leave vote or whatever. That's because again he is for reparations, but so is Claudia de la Cruz. So and that's the Latina woman, and I feel like her form of reparations aligns more so with my idea of reparations for Black Americans, whereas Cornell West wants it to be for all people who identify as Black. So if I were to vote the way that you vote with identity, I would still vote for him, even though his former reparations and even though his policies, I do agree with his policies, but there are other ways. There are other people who have similar policies. There are other people who have somewhat different policies that I'm like, that person is looking enticing as well. You know, I'm not going to tell y'all who I vote for, to be honest with you. And probably will sometime next year after voting is done, like way after, who I voted for. Let me put it that way. God willing, I'm still around. But there's more than I got four names. You know what I'm saying? Like I got four names in the hat, and I still haven't made my decision yet. You want to know why? Because I understand anything can happen between now and November 5th for me to make that decision. I still got time. God willing, I still got time. You know what I'm saying? It's only as I'm recording this right now, it's July 28th. I still got time. I still got time. So I'm not going to just jump on a train or jump on it because I don't want to look a certain way in front of my people or whatever the case is. That ain't me. And I've said this to this gentleman in the past, and I'm gonna say it here, and I'm gonna say it again. Because this the conversation is like if it's either we've had this in the past or it's super deja vu. Because I feel like I've talked to this man about this before. I made it clear that a long time ago when we were working together, I don't do the whole identity politics thing, especially when we don't get anything in return as from the same politician that we are going to clamor on to because of the color of their skin or because of their percentage of blackness that they have. I even though we're everyone in this group is black on both sides, we're supposed to just clamor on to a politician, whether they're half black, quarter black, full black. We're supposed to just clamor on to them because they got some blackness in them, whether it be half, quarter, or full, or anywhere in between, full and quarter, or whatever the case is, right? That's not how I do it. And that's not how we were supposed to do things. Unless, like I said, that person is going to come back to us and be like, yeah, I got something specifically for us. Then you got me on board. You have me on board with the whole identity politics thing. But it's not going to get me anywhere by simply just voting for her and all this other stuff. If it pisses people off, if people want to come up with their assumptions about me simply because I won't support her, someone who doesn't give a damn about black women or black men, that's your dumb ass. That ain't me. I know the truth about myself. I know how much I love and respect my people. And the reason why I don't support these people who are just using us for votes, it's because I love and respect us. You have to look at what you value more. Do you value representation more than the overall well-being of you, your community, your people? And I've said this before and I'm saying it again. That's all about you. Like, what do you represent? I'm not here to try to argue with anybody. I'm not here to try to convince anybody of anything. I simply state my opinions. I tried to do my best to educate folks on whatever. Again, I did that video on the three candidates I believe have a good chance at beating Donald Trump as long as people genuinely do their due diligence and then vote for them and stuff, of course. But um, there's one more name I should add to that list. That's RFK. You know what I'm saying? Like, but nah, You know, I'm on the RFK bandwagon now. You know what I'm saying? He's the new name. He's the fourth name, by the way. Um, so I got work to do. I got work to do, but I got work to do for myself. It's my vote. I'm not gonna vote based on well, old co-workers, old friends, family members, whoever. If people want to get out of my life because or don't want to associate with me, let me just put it that way, simply because I choose to vote a certain way based off of because I choose to have a certain criteria. Let me put it that way. Because the reason why I stay independent is because even if I align with the Green Party, I don't want to necessarily just vote Green all the damn time. All right. Now, the last two Green Party candidates have been great. The last two or three or so, right, have been great to me. You know what I'm saying? To me personally, I liked Howie Hawkins. I don't see him a lot anymore, so I don't know what he's doing. Jill Stein, love Jill Stein, still super active. Uh, Baraka, love Baraka. He's still active as well. But again, I don't necessarily, that doesn't mean that I'm just going to align myself with the green or align myself with whoever or align myself with whatever, right? Out of all the Democrats right now, Ro Khanna has been impressing me because of his stance on Bitcoin. Yeah, Ro Khanna. So, many different parties that, or at least the Green, Democrat, and Republican and Independents, that have politicians that I personally, you know, think are, at least doing something worth a damn. Um, because I think about issues. I don't think about the color of skin. I don't think about fear mongering other, voting to keep someone else out the White House and not have a valid reason. And I think I said this last week, but if I didn't say it last week, let me say it here because I don't want to keep this any longer than it needs to be. I made myself clear. I believe so. If the country got to burn, let it burn. If it's amongst a woman who destroyed black families, but I'm supposed to vote for her because she's black and she puts hot sauce on her collard greens and she cleans her collard greens in a tub and she wears Timberlands. I'm supposed to vote. Like all of that matters. Again, and I'm gonna say this to anybody who asks me, what matters to you more? Actual policies or just the look? Because the looks don't matter to me. She's a gorgeous woman, but looks don't matter to me when it comes to politics. I'm not voting on who's the best looking or who looks more like me, skin color wise, than the other candidates. Because if I were to follow y'all's logic, I would have voted for Dr. Ben Carson. That man was not going to get my vote in anything. I would have voted for all the other buck breaking, buck broken, buck dancing black Republicans that be on that stuff if I was to vote specifically for black folks. And even black Dems who are on that buck who are buck broken and shit. Crazy. Absolutely not. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? But that's that. That's that, and that's my feelings. Hopefully I got them across well. Um, If not, I'm willing to have a conversation in the comment section. So if you're audio listener or even if you're on YouTube, you are able to comment on the podcast. So please feel free to comment wherever it's appropriate. You can hit me up on Instagram as well if you want to, and we can keep the conversation going there if that is something that you desire to do. All right. Thanks again for checking out another episode of the Earnest Thoughts Podcast. Hit up the links in the description box below. Once again, my latest book, Late Nights on Broadway. You can find that down there. If you love to read or you know people who love to read, please share the book to them. That would greatly be appreciated. My blog is down there as well, so other things you can read as I write. Check out the other links down there, merch, all that other good stuff. And yeah, that's that with the self promotion. Subscribe, rate, share, all that good stuff. A shout out to the YouTube watchers out there for subscribing. Just hit 201 subscribers. Yes, I'm happy about that, or at least I want to celebrate more so of these milestones to me. So thanks to those who've been watching, subscribing on YouTube. Appreciate y'all. Hope to continue to get y'all support. Even if you want to comment on some dumb stuff. Algorithm, baby. Anyways, like, comment, share, subscribe. Like I said, until next time, until next episode, stay black if you are black, but be wise about your blackness and support black folks who support you. Stay beautiful. Black Lives Matter. The saying, the people, not the organization. LGBTQIA plus lives matter. Black women matter. Black men matter. And you matter. And I'm out. Peace.